need motivation and inspiration to get you off the couch and boss up? We've got you covered. Welcome to the Build or Destroy podcast. Self-improvement, education, business, relationships, financial literacy, investing, and doing for self. Let's do this. Here's your host, Anthony Barber Jr., a.k.a. The Builder.
What up, good people? It's your boy, The Builder, back with another episode in the Mental Fortitude series. This week, we're going to continue our talks and expound on the topic of research and due diligence and why it's important as an investor, especially in today's market. Now, when you look at due diligence, a lot of people, this is like a foreign thing to them, because as I stated in my last episode, most people focus on charts and technical analysis. And while that's great, if, from a technical perspective, what happens when the chart actually doesn't make sense? What happens when the market sentiment doesn't necessarily match up with the chart dynamics? Like, what do you do? Well, some people will say, well, you just got to know where to look. You can always find, stocks that are running or stocks that are green once one thing is down, another thing is up. That's cool and all to say, but the fact of the matter is there's thousands of companies in multiple sectors across the whole market. You can't be everywhere at the same time. And people that try to make outlandish claims like they have like a 100% win rate, that might be true because they actually know how to read the trends in the market. They actually know what stocks to actually play depending on, what's going on at the current time. But my focus has strictly been on long-term investment, growth strategies, finding, uncut diamonds. I hunt for uncut diamonds. Like that's my style. Like that's been my style for like the last 5 years. I don't necessarily shit on, chart analysis. I really don't, because I still use it. That was one of my building blocks, getting in the game. Like I wanted to know exactly what the hell I was looking at. Instead of just looking at a bunch of like symbols and lines on the screen and not knowing what the hell I was doing. Like I wanted to at least understand everything from a technical perspective. So I don't shit on people that do charts. So let's just get that out the way first and foremost. But over here, like the way we get down, like we look for, uncut diamonds. We look for the diamonds in the rough, those companies that a lot of people might not know about. And when I say a lot of people, I mean like the masses. A large body of people aren't really aware of it yet because, they're just not looking in that sector. They're not looking ahead of as far as like what's to come. They're not really future pacing like that. They're living day to day, man. Like they're trying to, lock in their 10 to 20% gains, and if you're getting over 20% in this market especially on the big board, like, hey, more power to you doing your thing. Shouts out to you. But I'm in it for like, 1,000% gains, like tens of thousands percent, over a long period of time. A lot of people try to knock the older philosophies and the older investment philosophies from like, yesteryear, like the Warren Buffetts, but people forget that Buffett made his fortune, without the fucking internet. Like he did it without all of this bullshit that we have now. And I call it bullshit because a lot of it is like, how did other people get rich without it? You know what I'm saying? Like, they did the work. They did homework. They did research. They had conviction in their investments. You know, they actually, you know, believed in, you know, the company, you know, growth, you know, over time, you know, of what it could actually be, not necessarily what it was when they were staring at it. Whereas now, I like to, you know, attribute that to like the microwave mentality, where like everybody wants a hot pocket instead of like a home cooked meal. Like, you know, forgetting the fact that, you know, you get almost no nutrition from a fucking hot pocket. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like an actual meal with real ingredients in it and seasonings. You know, I make that reference because that's what the market has become. It's become, in my opinion, a very clear divide between those that are patient, that, you know, have no problem vetting a company down to the bones and stripping it down to its base layer and then trying to rebuild it back up in their minds, you know, predicated upon, you know, obviously market shifts and everything like that. But they have no problem doing these things. And then you have another group of people that basically are just like smash and grab. Like, they just, you know, they don't have any trust in anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, if you don't want to trust the company as far as you can throw them, cool. But, you know, and if you don't have a problem leaving a bunch of money on the table, or you feel like you can just keep scalping and jumping in and out, then hey, do that. You know, do what you got to do. But like, this is why I stress like having patience and creating, you know, multiple streams of income for yourself, and trying to, you know, have a side hustle and, you know, a small business maybe, and, you know, try to bring other things into your life that generate cash flow so you can be an investor, you know, at least on some things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to invest in everything, because, you know, investment takes, like I said, a lot of time, but you at least want to give yourself that leeway, you know, to where you can pick those gems early, those seeds, and plant those seeds early and water them over time, so that you can cash out, you know, later and get a even bigger payday, a significant payday, you know, that's going to really have a large impact on your life, as opposed to, you know, a temporary thing, you know, it being like a moment to moment thing. You know, I don't really dig the whole ideology of the moment to moment thing. Yeah, you live in the moment, but like, if you cash strapped, and, you know, I understand, you know, you trying to be, you know, smash and grab, you trying to get those gains, locking that profit, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if you have a job and you have disposable income, or you have a side hustle which gives you disposable income, or you have something else other than like a 9 to 5 or something that's bringing in cash, like, you have, you know, disposable income that you can actually afford to put into something that could grow to a substantial amount, and you want to take advantage of that. Which brings me to my point in this whole thing, the due diligence process. And it is a process, but it's worth it. You know, it's worth, you know, learning things other than chart analysis. And I have to keep going back to this, because a lot of people don't even know how to read a quarterly report. You know, they don't even know what a quarterly report, you know, signifies. They don't even know what a Form 4 is. You know what I'm saying? Like, things of that nature. Like, all these terms, all these things I'm throwing out, they can literally be Googled. Like Google. Like, you can literally, what is a Form 4? And there's videos and Investopedia and all types of things that you can just read up on and familiarize yourself. You don't have to be a savant. You don't have to be a PhD in this shit. Like, you can literally just learn what you need to learn and put it in your back pocket for later. You know, once you learn it, you can't go back. You can't unlearn it. You know, and I think that's what scares a lot of people. They don't want to open up a certain door, because they might actually have to like walk into the room. and see what's in there. You know, they rather just shit on the whole philosophy and say, no, I don't want to do that. It seems daunting. Seems like it's time consuming. I'm really not feeling that. So that's cool. But at the same time, it's a necessity, especially in this market. The whole market been upside down since mid-February. Like, let's just keep it a buck. You know, a lot of people got wrecked this year. A lot of accounts got blew up because a lot of people came into the game with the same bullish mentality that they had in 2020. And 2021 basically pulled the rug out from under them and said, no, bitch, like, it's a new day. You know, like, the Fed went from pumping money into the market every single day of the week to literally yanking money out of the market. You have nonstop FUD every weekend. Friday, right after the market closes. Saturday is a little bit mild, but then Sunday they hit you in the teeth right before market. You know, to either fuck up the futures or anything. Like, it's just always some FUD going on from the mainstream media. It seems that plays a role in how the markets are going to roll. And unfortunately, small caps took a real big beating this year. Like, damn near every chart looked the same for like 6 months. You know, it had a peak and then it literally went bearish like February 18th, like right around Valentine's Day. Like, everything just went down, 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 and kept going down. And now you have a lot of, I mean, you can say it's consolidation, but everything just went bearish, man. Like, and if you didn't have cash, if you didn't take advantage of like that crazy bull run we had in 2020 and lock in some big cash and had it sitting to take advantage of, all of these bear trends, all over the place, then yeah, you're pissed. Yeah, you fucking mad. Like, you're angry right now, I would bet. Because you're looking at it from your point of view like, what the hell? Like, I'm used to the market going up. I'm used to everybody cheering. I'm used to hearing boom and seeing rocket memes everywhere. Now it's like everybody's like eating each other and fighting each other in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants to lock in gains. Everybody wants to like lock in no matter what the percentage is. Like, if their account's green for the day, they lock in. Like, they try to dump everything and just sell and just, and see, because they don't know how to really deal with this patient pain that I like to call this, like, patient pain. You suffer if you don't know how this shit is going to go. Like, you really if your mind isn't screwed on, your head ain't screwed on right, then the shit not going to go right for you. It's just going to be fucked up. Like, so it pays the research companies. Like, there's plenty of companies that are in plenty of sectors that are going to receive a tremendous upside, in my opinion, moving forward. Like, for example, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain. Even marijuana might get a slight boost, but it's not going to be like the golden years of like 2010 or anything like that. Not in my opinion, especially since legislation is about to change everything. And it looks like they're leaning more towards legalization, which is a whole nother crazy topic. But that's my point. It's like, if you know where to look, if you can kind of see what the UN 2030 agenda speaks to, if you can kind of see where the global trends are going, then you know how to allocate funds and you know what to research. Otherwise, you just playing it day to day, and you're going to literally wreck your brain trying to figure out, what slot machine to put your money in, as opposed to, being out back with a bag of seeds, planting those joints and watering them and telling yourself, yeah, this is going to pay off in a couple years. And I need to, basically bide my time until it does. Drones. Let's see what else. There's so many other industries that are working. Even like the medical, the biomed. They're doing some really crazy things with artificial intelligence and things of that nature that could really pop off. Next year. You have all these blockchain projects. You have all these Bitcoin mining companies that are moving, to the West because they got kicked out of China. It's just there's a lot of things out there, and my main point in all of this is, take your time to vet these companies. Find out who the CEO is. LinkedIn is like one of the most underrated social media platforms, right now. It literally has all the business stuff on there that, as far as due diligence is concerned, that you could find real easy. You want to know the CEO's background? If he's legit or she's legit, you most likely can find a lot about them on LinkedIn. You can find out who their associates are. You can even look into their employees. You can see how long they've been in business. You can see what partnerships they have. You can see where they went to school. You can see, what seminars they spoke at. Everything. All these is purely business related. It's purely for business networking. It's a business networking social media platform that you as an investor need to take full advantage of starting in 2022. Like, everybody should at least know what LinkedIn is and should be utilizing it to try to vet these companies that they're researching. You simply owe it to yourself to find the answers that you want. Nobody else is responsible. Okay? At the end of the day. Like DD or due diligence. Like, the definition literally means reasonable steps taken by a person in order to satisfy a legal requirement, especially in buying or selling something. Or a comprehensive appraisal of a business undertaken by a prospective buyer, you or me, especially to establish an assets and liabilities and evaluate its commercial potential. So that's what you're doing. You're evaluating the potential of these things. Like, that's all these companies are, is potential. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's literally like, yep, we guarantee that we're going to make $1 gajillion this year coming up, and this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and you should just buy it because we're all going to the moon. Nobody can make a claim that damn outlandish. I don't care how badass the analyst is, or how long they've been in the game, or who the expert that said it, or like, nobody can just guarantee something unless they like know insider information, which is, of course, that is fucking illegal. But other than that extreme circumstance, nobody really knows what these companies are going to do. So you have to be able to be mindful enough to engage the market accordingly. Okay, that's what it is, and it is what it is. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Build or Destroy podcast with your host, Anthony Barber Jr., aka The Builder. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all the tips and tricks you can use to boss your life up. If you're interested in expanding your mind and reaching your definition of freedom and how these ideas and views can be applied in the real world, tap in with us next week. As always, you can head over to www.builderslsb.com to cop some motivation, dope merch, and sign up to our email list. And don't forget to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode, folks. And as always, boss up instead of laying down.